human. It's just that we weren't expecting to find life, let alone human life out here. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader. And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
You've come aboard the Earth colony ship Constant. Generations ago, we set forth from the planet Earth with the mission of colonizing a new habitable world in the spirit of our ancestors nearly a millennium ago. I don't know all the particulars, but I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a colony ship. It was built long ago by our ancestors to sustain our crew over hundreds of years in space through generations of travelers. It's sturdy, fast, and spacious. That last one is important because we had to take as many supplies as possible with us on the journey and still have ample space for our crew. I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by, well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and the others. Ah, your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did. We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't compatible with theirs. All we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first. We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans. Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us lived long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous. Oh yes, of course. Where are my manners? Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge. Dr. da Costa, you may return to your quarters if you wish.
Thank you, Captain.
I will follow you to the bridge, ma'am, for security purposes.
I do not believe we have need to fear our guest, but I'll allow it if you insist. Welcome to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened.
Careful
So,
waving
he gathered
that
the
fancy
best
gun
and
around.
brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Now that we know what's out there, things are gonna be more interesting from here on out.
So, here we are. Let's talk. Now that you're here, I can finally give my crew a chance at a new life. Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made. A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually. I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along, instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly. Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you? We suspect that our equipment is woefully obsolete compared to whatever you all have now. In all honesty, we never expected to need to communicate with anyone, so our comms aren't particularly robust. That limits our options. We even attempted communicating with lights and sounds, something we saw in an old movie, but I don't believe they picked up on it. If anything, it may have inadvertently alarmed them. Ah, so they have a name. Paradiso. And it sounds promising that they sent you here to speak with us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us. Based on the data our ancestors had when they launched this endeavor, it was determined that this was the perfect planet for us. Even if we had another viable candidate planet, we lack the resources to get there. And as you know, it took us 200 years to get here. Our people have no desire to go back to drifting the stars so their children's children can possibly settle on an inferior planet. When we left Earth, there were no claims to planets this far out into space. We had assumed that we were the only ones attempting a generational journey such as this, meaning that there would be no need for a formal claims process. Regardless, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, did manage to file a charter for this planet's first colony, to be named New Jamestown. According to his records, no one took it seriously when he filed it, so likely it was either ignored or the records were lost to the ages. Given humanity's lack of interest in colonizing the far reaches of space at the time, it shouldn't have been a problem, but again, here we are now. Yes, of course. But we need to start from a firm position and state our goal. If need be, we can compromise, work out a mutually beneficial deal or some such, but initially I'd like you to be firm with them and convince them to leave the planet to us. Let me know how they respond, and we'll go from there. We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people. Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilization spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely close to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world. Now, it makes little sense to give up before you try. Thank you, and good luck.
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
The Constant is a peaceful.
I know Captain Brackenridge has essentially given you free rein to wander the ship, but security will still be watching you closely. I hope you understand, given we have so little experience with people from the outside. It pays to take security seriously, something I understand much better now than in my youth.
Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any ships before you arrived.
No matter what the future holds, I think I'll always be more comfortable in space. Hey! So it is true. An actual stranger aboard our ship? Wow. Oh, geez. Sorry, of course you don't know my name. We never met. I'm Yue. Wow, I never thought this would happen. Sure. Well, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. Oh, I'm the navigation officer, though I switch between nav and piloting. I'll be honest, the ship pretty much flies itself. Its destination hasn't changed since it launched, and we're here now, so I'm not sure what's next. See, the nav system's not perfect. We encounter stuff that our forebears didn't originally count on. Astral bodies, space debris, stuff like that. So sometimes I need to take manual control and get out of tricky situations. Then there was the time I used those unaccounted for anomalies to our advantage. Slingshotted us around a few stars that weren't supposed to be there, saved some fuel and knocked a few decades off our journey. Pretty incredible stuff. It's incredible. I'm pretty excited to meet new people and ask them all sorts of questions. I wonder about all we've missed this whole time while humanity has advanced around us. I'll be watching the skies for you.
Just because our equipment's old, doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers. Just stay out of trouble. We've got strict rules around here, but they're strict for a reason.
We got strict rules around here. They're strict for a reason. Never seen a ship like yours before. Then again, I haven't seen any ships before you arrived.
Space adventures, just like in the old movies. I wonder how many other planets are out there that we can live on. I bet there's a million.
So many people out there. I thought we were alone. Hello there. Given that I don't know you, you must be this visitor I've been hearing so much about. I'm Julia, the Constant's chief historian. It's nice to meet you on this momentous occasion. As chief historian, I can tell you a lot, probably. What do you want to know? We're the descendants of wealthy elites, intellectuals, artists, scientists, and others who left Earth in 2040 to spread humanity to the stars. The thinking was that Earth's days were numbered for a variety of reasons. Our finder, Rupert Brackenridge, had the foresight to plan for the worst. Thus, he constructed this colony ship to settle what seemed like the most habitable planet we could find, knowing full well it would take generations to reach. We suspected that we may have been the only ones to leave Earth, given that no one else seemed to have the same idea. I'm glad we appeared to be wrong. Well, we launched Tuesday, September 27th, 2140. So, about 190 years now. Would have been longer, but it turns out we have an ace navigator who saved us some time with some tricky maneuvers. ECS stands for Earth Colony Ship. We wanted a fairly inclusive name to represent the planet, and not a particular nation of origin. There was an old colony ship that sailed across the oceans of Earth from a country called England to settle on a new continent. It was called either the Susan or Sarah Constant. No one seems to know for sure. So ours was shortened to just Constant. Ironically enough, that ship also reached what they thought was new land, and found it populated when they arrived. As chief historian, I can tell you a lot, probably. What do you want to know? You know where to find me if you ever want to know more. If you ask around, people will either tell you my job is absolutely critical to the mission, or I just hang out, read, and watch movies. There's more to it than that. Officially, I'm assigned to the role of chief historian. Generations ago, it used to be lore-keeper of humanity, but that seemed a bit too lofty. While I don't think my job is as important as captain, engineering officer, or cultivation manager, it's still vital to our mission. I run the educational programs aboard the ship for all the children and any adults who are looking to learn about Earth history. We try to have group sessions some evenings, where we read old Earth literature, watch old films, listen to music, and the like. So yes, I hang out with children and watch movies, but it's more involved than that. We historians are charged with keeping Earth culture alive, so that we never forget where we came from. Of course. Everyone was assigned their roles here. We don't choose our roles, since there are only so many of us, and every job is critical. Someone has to prove themselves either exceptionally bad at their job, or exceptionally good at another, in order to be moved. But that rarely happens. I do. But sometimes it's frustrating to convince some people that my job is important, since it's not directly related to our continued survival. There was a time where I thought my sister was the lucky one, running the hydroponics farm and being responsible for feeding everyone on board. But I grew to like my work, and working with children is nice, especially since I'll never have any of my own. It's okay. I don't mind you asking. I'm actually proud of my choice. It's a great honor to give up one's ability to have a family so that others may. As you can imagine, a population limit is a necessity on board a colony ship. I made my choice long ago to give others the chance to have a larger family should they wish. Though, I suppose I don't need to worry about that now. Maybe it's time to consider it. Thanks for saying so. Goodbye.
I heard you came from outside the ship. I bet it was pretty cold out there. Captain Brackenridge says the future is bright, but I think the Constant was pretty bright too, so I don't really know much.
Miss Julia, I have a question.
Sure. What is it?
If there were animals on Earth, why aren't there any animals here?
Oh. Well, there wasn't enough room on board when our ancestors left Earth. We only had room for people.
What about the new planet? Will there be animals there?
Maybe. We don't know yet for sure. But if there are, they probably look a lot different than the animals we studied.
Oh, cool. I can't wait to find out.
I'm glad you're not an alien, but that would have been so cool.
never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
Hey, do you want to play hide and seek later?
Boy, am I glad you weren't some sort of alien or something.
We haven't. I saw a
It's almost time to take inventory of our stock again. Hi there. Oh,
just told me where the hiding spot was. Ah, shoot. I totally did. Ah, oh well.
I know. I'm fine. It's just that we've never really had visitors, right? Up until recently, we didn't even believe it was possible. Right? We've been cooped up together in this ship all our lives, so outside of births, there's literally no way for new people to arrive, you know? Anyway, sorry for freezing up before. I just didn't expect our visitor from the outside to stop by and chat with me. I figured, if anything, you'd be with the captain. I'm Dice K, the ship's provisions manager. I'm not sure what I can offer you, but if I can help, I will. And if not, I'm happy just to talk. Not really. Things don't work that way here. It's not a shop like you hear about in the books and movies, or, where you're probably from. Almost everything is communal or shared in some way, but sometimes people want a little something extra or special for themselves. So when that happens, they come to me. Mostly, I just keep track of the ship's inventory and help ration the supplies so we don't run out. We manage. I know back on Earth, there used to be stores all over the place. Some that even specialized in specific types of goods, if you can imagine. But here, this is it. We have very limited supplies. Most of our stuff is recycled, even the food, in a roundabout way, if you know what I mean. It works out for the most part, because it has to. You'll sense a running theme with that around here. See you around.
So much more to learn about now.
I wonder what else is out there. Hey there.
I wonder what it's like out there, beyond our little community.
Track of all our supplies is more difficult.